A black SUV glides through the gates of a private estate, high on a hill above Silicon Valley. Its windows are tinted, the driver silent. Inside, a billionaire whose name rarely appears in headlines is about to host a dinner. The guest list is a cipher, a senator, a hedge fund manager, a startup founder, and an old friend from a European royal family. There's no press, no Instagram, no leaks. The only clue to the evening's purpose is a single line on a calendar: discussion. For outsiders, this is just another gathering of the ultra-wealthy. But for those inside, these dinners shape the world's future, one quiet conversation at a time. To the public, billionaire power is a spectacle of numbers. We see the Forbes lists, the private jets, the mega philanthropy. We know the faces, the CEOs who ring the bell at the stock exchange, the disruptors who grace magazine covers, the visionaries on TED stages. Their companies are household names, their products in every home and hand. They are, in the popular imagination, the ultimate winners of capitalism. Markets respect them for their relentless drive, their uncanny timing, and their ability to create value where none existed before. Investors trust them to see around corners, to bet big and win bigger. The world watches and sometimes admires their rise. But beneath this public image lies a different architecture, one not built of glass and steel, but of influence, information, and invisible leverage. The real power doesn't always sit on the boards or in the quarterly reports. It flows through private equity funds structured in offshore jurisdictions, foundations that double as lobbying vehicles, and shell companies with names like Emerald Holdings or Blue Lake Ventures. It's in the ability to shape regulation before it's even written, to buy data that others can't access, to place trusted allies in key positions. The hidden edge is often subtle: a whisper in a regulatory hearing, a clause in a contract, a handshake at a retreat. Sometimes, the greatest advantage is knowing what others don't, or knowing who to call when the rules are about to change. Yet this hidden architecture is not invulnerable. It has its weaknesses, its bottlenecks. Information can be hoarded, but it can also leak. Alliances can shift. Governments, once pliant, can grow unpredictable. The very structures that provide protection, complex trusts, global networks, opaque investments, can become liabilities when the spotlight turns. A whistleblower, a data breach, a sudden shift in public mood, these can unravel years of careful planning in a matter of weeks. The more intricate the web, the more points at which it can be torn apart. History is full of turning points when the hidden machinery of billionaire power is exposed. Sometimes it's a journalist's investigation, sometimes a market crash, sometimes a courtroom battle. In the early 2000s, the collapse of Enron revealed not just accounting fraud, but a labyrinth of off-balance sheet entities designed to obscure risk and enrich insiders. More recently, the Pandora Papers pulled back the curtain on how the world's rich and powerful move money across borders, shield assets, and avoid scrutiny. In each case, the revelation is not just about one company or one person. It's about a system that allowed secrecy and scale to thrive side by side. Rehook. What do markets, investors, and rivals see when the veil lifts? They see the true cost and the true value of opacity. They understand that information asymmetry is itself a form of power. Hedge funds pay fortunes for data others can't get. Venture capitalists court founders not just for ideas, but for access to hidden networks. Rivals study not just products, but supply chains, political connections, and legal loopholes. When a billionaire's edge is exposed, markets recalibrate. Trust is repriced. Sometimes fortunes are lost overnight. Other times, new fortunes are made by those who read the signals early. At its core, the lesson from these case files is that power in the billionaire class is never just about money. It's about the architecture behind the money, the structures, the relationships, the secrets. True leverage comes not from what is owned, but from what is controlled and who is influenced. The most successful billionaires are not always the loudest or even the richest. They are the ones who understand how to move in the shadows, to build alliances that outlast headlines, to shape the game long before others realize it's being played. And yet this power is always at risk of being seen, measured, and challenged. The architecture is hidden but never indestructible. In the end, the hidden architecture of billionaire power is a reminder. In business and finance, the real story is often the one we don't see. The sharpest edge is the one kept out of sight until suddenly it isn't. If you want to see more stories behind the power, subscribe and stay curious.